The extraordinary is an ordinary event here on LA's Venice Beach. I'm Jon Bauman. It was on this beach in the summer of '65 that a chance meeting took place between two old friends just out of college. One was a poet, the other a keyboard player. Neither had a clear direction at that point in his life, so they decided here on Venice Beach to try forming a band. Later in the show, we'll hear how their chance meeting wrote a new chapter in the story of rock and roll. 1965, that a kid named Ray Manzerek, fresh out of UCLA film school, sat contemplating a very fuzzy future here on Venice Beach. Suddenly into focus came an old school chum, Jim Morrison, who instead of leaving town, as he'd announced in June, had grown his hair long and decided to stay in California. Keyboard player Ray Manzerek tells the story of the beginning of the Doors.
He comes walking down the beach, looking absolutely great. He says, "Hey, Jim, come on over here." And Jim Morrison, God, what are you doing here in California? I thought you were going to New York. He said, "No, I decided to stay here and write some songs." Write songs? Ah, he knew I was a keyboard player. He said, "Well, let me hear a song and sing one for me, or sit down here on the beach." And he started to sing Moonlight Drive. Let's swim to the moon. It was just the two of us, and he's just singing just like that. Let's climb through the tide. And I heard the lyrics to it. I thought, these are incredible. Man, this is just the best lyrics I've ever heard for rock and roll.
Let's swim to the moon. Let's climb through the tide.
Well, what do we call the name? And he said, "I've got the name." This guy. He said, "The Doors." I said, "The Doors?" I thought, that was the most ridiculous name I'd ever heard. I went, "The Door." Oh, wait a minute. You mean like the doors in your head, huh? Opening up the doors in your mind. He said, "Yeah, exactly. Like Aldous Huxley's The Doors of Perception. Or William Blake's line, if the doors of perception were cleansed, man would see things as they truly are, infinite." I said, "Yeah, that's us, the Doors."
Love me one time, babe. Good night, sweet. One time, baby. Yeah, money's got weed.
Jim Morrison, like John Phillips and the Mamas and the Papas, was the son of a career military officer. Morrison's own behavior was less than regimented.
Morrison always had a wild streak, though. He was always a little crazy. A few too many drinks, and he was right over the edge. Morrison could always be relied on for a hell of a good time. If you went out drinking with Jim Morrison, you were going to have one hell of a good time.
But as the Doors became more popular, the pressures of performing increased Morrison's drink and drug intake. Ray Manzerek lost his closest friend when Morrison died at the age of 27.
He lived his life so fully, so full of excitement, so intensely and so spontaneously that I can't regret his passing. He did not die a 65-year-old, whipped, beaten old man. He died 27 and a half, July 3rd, 1971, in Paris, France, and he died as a poet, an outlaw, renegade, wild Dionysian poet, and I miss him.